across the UAE, the US, and India. Apart from that, he has been affiliated with IABAC certification programs for many years as a mentor and as a subject matter expert. And today he will cover the topic of certifications in shaping the world of data.
Hey, thanks for that, Ram. I'll just be a minute. Just to confirm from the AFRI CDSA, would it be all right to begin? Are you still waiting for participants?
Yeah, let's give it a minute, then we'll start.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
And thank you so much, Ram, from IABAC for the introduction. We are happy that we are finally having this session with our members. It's something that we are not taking for granted. It's an opportunity to educate on what we have and also an opportunity to listen to the students. So in a minute, before Nikhil starts his presentation, let me just introduce who we are as AFRIC-DSA. Then we'll have Nikhil continue after which we shall get to the question and answer session. So, minute. Yeah, I hope you can see my slide. So briefly about who we are African Center for Data Science and Analytics, and as AFRIC-DSA, we are a multidisciplinary learning accelerated consultancy firm committed to closing the skills gap in Africa's job market by providing transformative tech-based learning in data science and artificial intelligence. And since inception in 2020, we have graduated over 1,500 students globally. So our headquarters are in Nairobi, Kenya, but then we serve the global market because we have both virtual and physical programs. And we do have our intakes every 2 months, where we take students through the tuition, that's the course tuition, after which our students sit IABAC exams. We are accredited by IABAC. AFRIC-DSA program syllabuses are aligned with global industry best practices in the field of data science and artificial intelligence. And our goal is to provide high quality, globally accredited industry-aligned programs in the field of data science and artificial intelligence to working professionals and beginners. So basically, our target market is both professionals who are in the industry and beginners who are just getting into the data science industry. And why should you train with us? A global recognition. As we have said, we are certified by IABAC. That's IABAC certification, board certification based on European Union government framework. So they are the ones who have accredited our curriculum. We have expert trainers, elite faculty composed of practicing data scientists. So besides the classwork, we also expose you to real-world scenarios, real-world projects. We offer real-time experience. That's project-based approach to training. Our trainings are very practical. We don't just expose you to the theory. We also take you through the application of whatever there is in data science. Job assistance, We have programs to support on curriculum vitae creations. We also give job updates, and we have also developed connections in the industry. So in instances or in places where we are in a position to refer you to jobs, we have done that. And our connections are not just locally but also globally. Our admission process is very simple: payment of first fee installment. Then we register you on IABAC, where we give you an admission number. Then based on that admission number, we give you an admission letter. You start your classes. At the end of your classes, you are able to sit the IABAC exams and get your international certificate. And it's also important to note that currently we have admissions that are ongoing for our March intake. We have intakes every 2 months. That's January, March, May, all throughout the year. How can you find us? Our email is info@africdsa.com. We also have our phone number there, and I advise that perhaps the Africdsa team that you're here, you can just chat you can put the phone number on chat so that anybody who wants to reach out gets to reach out. We are located in Nairobi. That's our physical headquarters are in Nairobi. Pioneer House, that's room 308, Moi Avenue. We are available on all social media platforms at the AfricDSA handle. So in a nutshell, that's who we are. We'll have lots of opportunities to interact. But at this juncture, I'd like to welcome Nikhil, who will now take us through the presentation of the day. So Nikhil, most welcome. And as Nikhil gets to do the presentation, we have said just chat. If you have any questions, chat. You can also raise your hand towards the end of the presentation so that we can give an opportunity to ask your question. Thank you. Nikhil.
Thank you so much. All right, so as we take a look, I will just try and share my screen. Good evening to everyone, first up, and welcome to the webinar. Could you please confirm if the screen share is visible?
Yes, it's visible.
All right, thank you. So, for any prospect and anyone who is familiar with the world of data, and even if you are in another domain at the moment, this is something that is touching all our lives, right? We don't really find ourselves away from the field of analytics, from the field of data science. And one of the core ideas that introduce you to analytics and what really brings about the field on a platter, so to speak, is the idea of certification. And because of several factors, it is that we have these kind of initiations that you can say in the field that are catching up very rapidly, right? So that's something that we will look to address today, and kind of dive into that area of certifications, understanding a little bit about data science to begin with. I'm sure this is something that you have, this is generally speaking about your AfricDSA, and we have already had that from. Okay, so that's come from the horse's mouth, right? So we are, okay. Generally speaking, when you talk about data science and you look at it as a pretty vast domain, and we like to just distill things down for you when we define what the field really does. And in short, yes, you are just gathering insights from your data, and this data, of course, can be in various forms. You may have it ready as part of your transactions. Let's say we are doing some kind of a financial transactions, whether you're talking about a bank or a lending institution, you are naturally generating a lot of information. Quite similar for a retail outlet, let's say, and supply chain in general. Or you may be talking about data which is required for a specific project, and we are going out to seek it. Either way, the start of any project begins with understanding what is the business case, what domain are we working with, right? As we said, it could be banking, it could be retail. Healthcare is strongly picking up over the last 12 months in particular. We have seen a lot of advances happening. And your programming skills come in there because of the use for machine learning. And as a tool, ML and AI both become tools in your hands once you study data science. And the fundamentals that you are looking at within data science are coming from a bit of maths and a significant amount of statistics. Portions of statistics, of course, not something that is looking at the field as a whole, but what becomes relevant for analyzing data. All right. So apart from your core fundamentals, programming as a field and your domain and the general idea of what you can do with your various tools is evolving on a constant basis. And we can speak of even tools that is simply going to visualize your data for you, come up with some kind of colorful charts. Even those kind of tools are going through a lot of evolution. So one of the ideas that you are looking for, we'll come for the reasons that people usually go for certifications. First up, from an industry perspective, you would have a grasp over the essentials which certification courses tend to provide, particularly when you have 2 months to 4 months to study your entire modules. And that's when the delivery caters to certain structures, right? That is where IABAC and such accreditation bodies come into play, because there is a lot of structure that you have. That apart, yes, we are eventually talking about applying principles in the real world. You should be able to find a job. You should be able to utilize a lot of what you learn there. All right, moving on. Everything that you find in terms of the content for your certification programs, in our context right now, you really have a lot of resources, right? At times, whether in the form of YouTube, whether in the form of blogs and articles, and the sheer overload of information sometimes is a bit too much to take. That is what brings into question the trust quotient that you have, right? How much can you rely upon the information that you are getting, and is there a structure to it? Is there an alignment in terms of how you grasp information? All right. Generally, you will have likes and dislikes in terms of what kind of delivery you are relating more to. Some of you might prefer to read. Most of you might prefer a visual association, which becomes stronger. But again, you may develop your favorites there. But the general idea of having something that is organized, something that is tailored for what you require in the industry, all right? That is where certification comes into play. Your credibility in the market for any given certification is very valuable. That becomes a starting point in many ways. We have, not too long ago, we've had Mercedes-Benz, we've had QuadGen, Exam Room AI. These are some of the top companies and upcoming mid-scale companies as well, which are looking for IABAC credited certifications, right? They are asking for that sort of a program, and if you might be aware of, this is something that Afric DSA would be briefing you about, of course, but we do have exams that come out of IABAC, and that becomes, apart from your certification that you receive from the institute, you have a feather in the cap because of the IABAC certificate that adds on to that. All right, it is something that vouches for the value of the projects that you have done. So that is something that makes a certification appealing. You would have your own reasons to come to this. We may speak of a career transition, and this usually happens for, it could be for beginners, it could be for those who are professionals, and those who have had significant experience in a certain area. Now they see some value getting added, which becomes more of a skills upgrade thing, right? Where you may want to add on to whatever knowledge you already have about your subject, and see how that can be applied in a context of data analytics, right? So as we said, having some expertise of the domain becomes a relevant factor for any project. So if you can speak the language of data, and you can also apply the concepts that you have from your own area of expertise, it becomes a very strong combination there, right? Career transition could be, as we said, yeah, this could be at just about any stage, and most people who are at the moment occupied in the industry, they have not exactly come from a technology-based background. They may not have a computer science background at all, but they have been successfully able to learn the basics, grasp it from programs which have allowed them to move on to that field, right? There is the idea of credentials boost that always comes into play, and even while you are employed with a certain company, they would want to know what are you doing for training, and what are you doing for to upgrade yourself, right? To keep yourself abreast of every development that is happening. And this, morally speaking, yes, it is a big motivational factor that you have some added credentials, and the knowledge that you learn, particularly in the light of where data science is getting used, that knowledge will never go waste, right? You may not immediately employ these concepts, but let's say 5 years, 10 years down the line, because of how prevalent it is, because of how important it is getting, you're all aware of the reach that AI now has, and AI depends strongly on your study of data. So yes, that is something to look forward for from a long-term perspective as well. Let us come to your job environment, and we've just put down the general outlook of an employer. These are some of the companies who are hiring actively in South Africa. All right, you have First National Bank and Vodacom there. So they would seek some experience from a project where you have actually seen what happens with data, what happens in the whole workflow in general, to really give you a perspective and to give you a starting point, right? This is a launch pad of some sort. And how clear are you about your processes? How clear are you about applying certain concepts, about the fundamentals as well? These are things that are tested. These are things that companies are looking for. Some of them may go a little more towards certain tools. They may lean towards certain ideas. But eventually, yes, this is something that it becomes a good, you can say it's a guiding light for those people who are hiring. All right. So that is something that they actively seek. Some things always remain your principles. They don't change much. Nevertheless, a few more consulting and banking organizations over there who are actively recruiting in terms of these are coming. There are lots of statistics coming from LinkedIn and from the job openings that are available in your data science based roles, right? Okay, all right. So at any point, please feel free to put in your questions. I don't know if I have. Yeah, it's okay. I may not have seen any yet. Okay, all right. Okay. So in terms of what employers may look for from freshers, you could say, from those who are just starting off their career. You are, yes, the idea of a certification program becomes the grounding, but how keen are you to grow? How keen are you to learn? And these are the finer aspects that come across when you are sitting across the table at having an interview. Just to have an overview on that, right? So part of learning and growing is definitely signing up for programs that have a professional outlook, right? Rather than we do have a select few programs which are offering degrees in data science. It's something that is growing. It's an area that you have actively, but it's still something that is offered more for computer scientists and those who are doing that form of engineering, that it becomes an elective. Let's say machine learning becomes an elective. And there are those who are offering bachelor's in data science. This is something that is still growing as an idea, and the curriculum itself is developing. But yeah, we have a on an active basis, those who are looking to recruit, they find an easy medium in the form of those who have done these certifications. All right, so yeah, it's a sign of what you are looking for in as a futuristic outlook in general. From professionals, yes, from those who are sticking to a certain area, if you are transitioning, well and good. You should still be able to have a track record, of course, over what you have already done. There is always something more that you can bring in the form of experience. But if you're looking to club the idea of a data-based understanding and also what comes from a domain, all right, which could be as diverse as engineering, manufacturing, or we could be talking about medical practitioners, those who are working in the HR spectrum of things, handling organizations. So yeah, sky is the limit in terms of what kind of domains that data science gets applied to, and you have a bit of variety there in terms of what companies seek as well. All right. So we have IABAC as having a few affiliations, and part of the journey that was undertaken when IABAC was formed was to have something that was foolproof enough, something that was able to keep up with the times, and it also had the kind of portfolio of courses and programs which cater to every kind of interest, right? Whether it's exclusively for analytics, whether it's for data engineer, we may talk about particularly with data science and the kind of interest that these programs are gathering, right? So I would like to thank Afric DSA for the opportunity, and it's always great to interact with those who are seeking out new avenues. So any questions that you may have, I'm all ears. Be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you so much, Nikhil, for that wonderful presentation. It's been great hearing from you. We are now opening it up for questions. Feel free to ask any question that you have. As we said before, we are today hearing from the horse mouth. So those burning questions around data science, around qualification for this certification, this is an opportunity to have them addressed. And you can raise your hand, you'll be given an opportunity to ask via voice. You can also put it on chat. And here we have our first question from Alex. He's asking, after becoming a certified data scientist, what next? Can I go for postgraduate diploma then masters? This is for somebody who wants to continue getting deep into learning. Perhaps you can advise on
Right.
that.
Yes. Yeah, certainly that becomes an option. And in terms of what you would look for, PG diplomas would have their requirement in terms of some kind of, let's say, if it is talking about something to do with computer science, then they would ask for those certifications, well, those credits, right? So you're talking about university credits. And if your current program is allowing you to transfer some credits, well and good. So as such, a professional course is usually designed more for your, in terms of what opportunities you can get in the industry. Academically speaking, if you can, yes, you would have to get the kind of credits that enable you for that program. But yes, if there will be those who consider your industry experience, and at some stage, this is an option that opens up. It would be, well, a master's would be particularly helpful if you are eventually looking to go for a research kind of an environment, and you would like to see it from a more academic point of view. But yes, it is the option that opens up for you. All right.
Okay, thank you for that. There's a second question. Maybe let me take the third before the second because it's kind of related to what you've answered. Is IABAC accreditation good enough and masters in data science and overkill?
Okay. Well, yes, it is. See, this is something that requires a fair bit of research. You are not talking about jumping in blindly into some kind of a program, particularly if it's going to take a year or 2 years, and it's a commitment, right? So if you are looking for a master's in data science, and you have located those kind of universities which offer it, you need to go through you need to verify whether they have some backing over there, and what kind of faculty that you are looking for. So the expectations are going, as we said, more towards an academic leaning, right? You are eventually wanting to do research, which is why a master's would become relevant. Those credits are something that you can use. So yeah, I would say once you have some bit of certification, and you have it accredited from a strong organization, you could think of having some industry experience, and eventually, when you are clear about a specific area within that where you would like to specialize, then perhaps a master's program becomes important. So it will also help you choose the right kind of courses.
Okay. The third question: do you need the knowledge in software engineering for you to be effective in the corporate, or data science is enough for the software space? If not so, how can I get myself effective? And perhaps you could also use that opportunity to, because a second question to that is any master's program that are related to data science. Yeah, you can take that.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I think we. Yeah. So with regards to software engineering, it becomes quite vague. Mick Nixon, I think, Mike Nixon, I think, if I'm getting the name right. So yes, you are talking about doing something specific. We cannot look for corporate as a generic area, but you are talking about being effective from an analytics point of view, and from trying to come up or be effective in problem solving, essentially. So software is something that you utilize, right? We are talking about software as a tool for what you try to achieve with your projects, and with a lot of consultancy assignments that come up. But yeah, data science is something that makes use of it. And yeah, if you're looking to for from an analyst point of view, this, yes, then having some kind of an introductory program would be good enough. And that is where I think IABAC scores, because of their focus on beginners to programming.
Okay, there's another one. Maybe you can explain the relationship between data science and programming, and perhaps some of the key tools that the individual can focus on.
All right. So when we, yeah, well, you do have a few languages in programming. Python and R probably are, R is a language which is more inclined towards statistics, and more towards the insurance field, you could say. So Python as a language becomes something that it has grown in its popularity, and it is also offering a lot in terms of the applications that you can get into. All right. So with regards to data science, with regards to machine learning in particular, which, as we said, is a key part of getting a project to its conclusion, for predictions that you make. And generally speaking, for you to use those tools, for you to utilize machine learning, and for also to perform analytics more effectively, programming in Python becomes very relevant, right? It is something that is required, and in that sense, you are dependent on it. And particularly when you come towards the idea of studying machine learning, you have a lot of inbuilt developments that have happened in the last 10 years in Python, and it does make your life easier in terms of trying out certain modeling tactics. All right. So yeah, programming, as just to summarize that, it is something that is required for data science, right? You will be using it in several ways.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I missed the tools part. Yes. Sorry. So yeah, that would be. How many tools are you supposed to cover? Well, I believe IABAC has focus on Python as your. It's that underlying thing. Python runs through just about every module in your data science program. You also have a focus on SQL as a language that is required for working with a data warehouse and your databases. And apart from that, there are some BI tools that, like Power BI, for example, which you should be familiar with. Right? And these are not prerequisites, but these are things that get covered as part of a certification program.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. I don't know, members, do we still have any other questions? As we said, you can raise your hand so that we give an opportunity to ask directly, or you can just put it on chat and we should be able to respond. Perhaps you can take maybe 2 or 3 more questions before we bring the session to an end. Yes, we have another one. Must I be having a computer maths background to crack data science?
Not at all, Eric. That is not something that that is asked for. You are, as we said, you have a lot of beginners who come from a non-technical background, all right, and they are able to grasp the basics of programming, which is enough from a data science point of view.
Okay.
So it is, yes.
One more.
It is something very common, just to add to that. So, because we see that as an active concern with a lot of times that people believe you require some understanding of programming. You need to have, a lot of knowledge about mathematics. If you have been through high school, through senior secondary school, you already know some of the maths that is required. There will be a bit of a brush up that happens, and programming for sure, it starts from scratch. So nothing to worry about there.
Okay. Then we have our last question. Please tell us more about the exams that are offered by IABAC before certification.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah. Finally, you're talking about. There will be some things that you would have to inquire with the institution, with Afric DSA, which sir would be able to guide you better. And the exams that are completed from the institution is one thing where they are assessing you. But eventually, yes, once you have done a few projects, you have enough understanding to be able to appear for the IABAC exam. I believe there are a couple of exams at least where one focuses on a data science foundation, and another is looking at a project that you need to deliver. So you probably get a couple of weeks to work on your project, and that is something that finally gets you your IABAC certification. Once you are trained enough, these things are definitely within your reach, and you learn a lot in the process. So yeah, that's definitely something doable.
Okay. Thanks a lot for that. How can one get in touch with you? Maybe you can just let them know.
Oh, okay. I guess we can touch base on LinkedIn, Alex. So you can yeah, you can just search for Nikhil Hegde, and yeah, I'd be there probably for yeah. I don't really have the link right now, but yeah, look me up. You should be able to find it under. So yeah, that first and last name, and as a part of Rubik's. Okay, so I believe we will be in touch with Afric DSA. So yes, in case you could reach out through them as well. But you can find me on LinkedIn.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. The link has been shared. We'll also circulate. I want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for creating time to be with us this session. And maybe just to let everyone know that at Afric DSA, we normally have lots of these webinars, some of them internally, some of them we are inviting industrial experts, where we have people from multiple industries to just explain how data science is applicable in the various industries. And also we'll be having lots and lots of sessions with IABAC so that this information is continuous and is disseminated to you time and over. And as I shown before, get in touch with us. Some of you are already our graduates, some of you are prospective students. Get in touch with us. We'll have separate sessions to take you through the programs and how to go about them, and also how you sit the exams. We'll have an elaborate explainer on that whole process. But for today, it was to listen to IABAC, and I think the session has been wonderful. We really want to thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes.
Look forward to more collaborations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ram, I don't know if you have any final remarks before we close. Or Vishal?
Yeah, so again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Afri CDSA and Nikhil Day for joining us for this, making this webinar successful. I hope all attendees, if they have any questions, queries, you can contact Afri CDSA. So they are one of our premium partner from that particular region. Contact, understand if you're pretty much interested to start your career on data science AI. So Afri CDSA will help you on this. Thank you. On that note, I think thank you everyone. Wish you a good day.
Thank you so much. Have a good day and a good weekend ahead. Bye. Looking forward to another session.